The Miami Dolphins versus the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, Ravens. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, and Haloti Nada are on the floor crying their eyes out because of how putrid and pathetic that defense looked, especially in the fourth quarter. Who wants to kick it off?
Me.
Me.
Kick it off, yes. I want to kick it off. This is exactly okay. I remember having these talks with you guys. Brandon, when you give your quarterback a number one receiver, let's see what can happen. And I said, this is a big time year for Tua. Is he going to have Josh Allen like strides? Is he? And damn, did he show the world a big, he gave so many critics a big middle finger this past Sunday. He didn't go out there and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. No, he went even higher. He went 469 and 6 touchdowns. There's so many quarterbacks, even the elite ones that we watched today, that will probably never throw 6 quarterbacks in their entire career. 6 touchdowns in a game for the entire career. That was a hell of a showing by the Miami Dolphins. And one thing that before this season, you'd see Miami who contended. They weren't a big time playoff team, but with Brian Flores there, they were always fighting for a spot. They were close. They weren't far. They never had the offensive firepower. They couldn't compete with the big dogs. I remember there was a big game that they played against the Chiefs. I don't know if it was last year or the year before that, with Tua under center, and they were going toe to toe with Kansas City. But at the end of the day, you knew they didn't have the firepower to hold up. I'm looking at this offense. I'm seeing Jalen Waddle catch 11 passes for 171 and the game-winning touchdown. Tyreek Hill, 11 for 190 and 2 touchdowns. This is an offense that is explosive. Explosive. The NFL's built on speed. And man, dude, they have a glutton of it. They have too much of it. It's insane how much they can blow you away on offense. And Tua being accurate, I mean, it was looking ugly at the start, but they started to rev the engine. They turned it up. I got to say, man, Miami's going up against Buffalo next week, and they actually have an offense that can keep up. That was a hell of a showing by the Miami Dolphins.
This kid Brandon's over here sleeping, Justin. It's about damn time we owe Tua Tagovailoa. I used to call him Tua turn the ball over. Tua Tagovailoa his damn respect. Brandon, you are of the belief a quarterback doesn't have to be the crazy play extender, a Josh Allen, if you will, with the big-time size, the elite arm strength. It's about what he's got upstairs. You use that oftentimes at Baker Mayfield and the cannon he has. Earlier today, I was on Twitter, and I saw somebody flip the screen as if Tua was a right-handed thrower of the football. And I said, holy, he can throw it. And there are times in this game, especially late, where he commands a game-winning drive, a comeback from being down 21 points on the road against one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the AFC, and Lamar Jackson, who put up over 30 points on his defense, and at the end of the day, he got the job done. Over 360 yards to his top 2 weapons. The fact of the matter is, and Brandon, you know this, every quarterback needs to be supported. And until his first 2 years, he was not by any stretch of the imagination. Brian Flores did not want him. His offensive coordinators had 2 of them a year ago. And outside of Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki, he had no weapons, especially in the one game Waddle missed last year. I think it was one. It was like Devontae Parker, he's not even healthy. So he's got nobody to really get going with an offensive line that was hell-bent to kill him. This year, he has an elite receiver number 1, an elite receiver number 2, one of the best receiver number 3s, an awesome tight end in Mike Gesicki, as a receiver at least, and a fairly okay offensive line after adding Teron Armstead and Connor Williams. With all that being said, we're seeing you don't have to be a Justin Herbert to be a franchise quarterback. Herbert, yes, he is bigger, more athletic, and more talented than Tua. But at the end of the day, the Dolphins in the last 11 games have the best record in the entire NFL. 10-1. After starting the year last year 1-7, Tua has won games more than any quarterback in the league. And Justin, I know you use this often with Jimmy Garoppolo. I see a lot of similarities between the two quarterbacks. Very athletic, very good, definitely not very athletic, excuse me, very accurate, good ball placement, and generally speaking, they get the job done. Tua last year was up there in turnover-worthy plays, but this year we're seeing when he has the weapons and the guys that are threats to opposing defenses, those short to intermediate routes, they're being hit. He's decisive and quick in his reads. And when the deep shot is there, he is connecting. And keep in mind, Brandon, this is 2 weeks in with a brand new head coach and a brand new offensive coordinator. The best thing ultimately that's going to happen to Tua, like any young quarterback, is getting the proper offensive play caller. And in Mike McDaniel, I really think he saved Tua's career. At the end of the day, all of these franchise quarterbacks have potential. The difference is the ones that are supported and the ones that succeed. And Tua is going to win games. He's going to lead his team to the playoffs. And with a slate of the Bengals and the Bills next week, he's going to show us on prime time against Cincinnati and in these division games, the Dolphins have a damn chance. We saw them be all right for years with Ryan Tannehill and all these other mediocre quarterbacks. Tua is a good leader, more than capable, and most of all, he can get the job done with the insane offense that they have built. And at the end of the day, they beat your Patriots last week. I didn't have them as a playoff team. I underrated them massively. At the end of the day, by the end of the season, we're going to be looking at this Dolphins team as the most fun offense in football. And it starts with the guy under center.
I mean,
what are you laughing for?
I think I either need to get my eyes checked or maybe buy a new TV or something. Because I saw something completely different than you two. First off, I will agree with Justin that he said, I don't know if he started this one off or it was to round off another topic, but he did say, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, and I tweeted it out. Tua ain't looked like this against us. So, and I started this topic off by saying how putrid and pathetic the Ravens defense played in the fourth quarter. Absolutely atrocious.
Or was it the offense they're going against?
So on that 48-yard touchdown that everybody's so in awe about, like, oh my God, did you see that? What a pass. Look at him. Oh my God. And John referred to it. He looked at the flip play, which I also watched. And again, I guess I got to get my eyes checked because I saw something completely different. And I don't know how nobody's seeing this. He underthrew that ball.
It's not about arm strength. It's about timing with a brand new receiver. Timeout? What do you mean timeout?
I stayed completely quiet while you guys had your little soliloquies, okay? He underthrew that football. Go back and watch the play. If Marcus Peters doesn't give up at the end, the tail end, that's an easy bat down, possibly an interception with how good Marcus Peters is with his hands. He underthrows the football. Hill has to slow down and stop to catch the football. Okay? So that's one. Two, the game-winning touchdown to Jalen Waddle on a number 5, another guy named Jalen Armour Davis. Again, not a very good throw, not a very good read. The defensive back mistimes the back. He has it played, like he sees it, and he just whiffs and completely messes that play up. I will tell you this though. I believe in Tyreek Hill. I believe in Jalen Waddle, and I am a believer now in Mike McDaniel, right? Yeah, Mike McDaniel. I was about to call him Mac McDaniel. Mike McDaniel. I'm a believer in him now. Okay, I like his. I don't know. I like the aura he brings off. He's very, he was getting trashed the whole offseason. I wasn't really trashing him. I was just, like, I don't know about you. I have to see. And I've seen, and I think he's doing a very good job, a hell of a job. But I still don't believe in Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think you're going to see this type of game again. And if you do, again, it's going to be Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. It's starting to look like what it looked like when he was playing with Alabama with all those first round picks and where everybody was wide open. Yeah, where everybody was wide open. Okay, it's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. You ever heard that saying before?
After watching Mitch Trubisky this week, I think I'd take Tua Tagovailoa any day as my starting quarterback.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa. Yeah, Tua Tagovailoa. All right, if you're gonna be a fan, at least get his name wrong. I'm the one here who's less on him, and I know how to say it. Okay, but I will say for the Ravens offense, I mean Lamar played phenomenal. He couldn't have played any better. 21 of 28, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 86 QBR, and he had 9 carries for 119 yards with a touchdown in that 75-yard run that he had. But this defense, I mean, the Ravens defense really gave this game up. I'm very disappointed in the Ravens defense because they had the game won. You're up 28-7 in the fourth quarter, and you blow it, in my opinion. I don't. I'm very disappointed in almost all the AFC North teams, to be honest with you. And that's not really a shot at you, John. It's just I'm disappointed in all their performances. But yeah, Tua is that. You guys can praise him all you want, have this recency bias. Call me back in a couple weeks when he's come back to earth.
I don't think it's recency bias. The hate we gave him was because of the production. But now, Brandon, he is producing at a very high level. Currently, yes, in 2 weeks, he leads the NFL in passing yards. It's probably not going to sustain itself. But like you said, at Alabama, he showed he can go off with the weapons. Like any quarterback, if you can put the weapons around them and they thrive, as Tua has done the last 2 weeks. I mean, against New England, he had a pretty good game. Sure, it wasn't a convincing one like it was last week, but I mean, you throw for almost 500 yards. You're doing something right. And this last week, you saw him come back from being down 3 touchdowns, and the way he was able to galvanize his team and make necessary throws, it speaks volumes. It does. Because at the end of the day, not every quarterback can do that with the talent. I think many can. Ryan Tannehill, if you put him here, this is probably a playoff team still. But it says something that this guy has won 10 of his last 11 games. He's winning and he's producing around what he's been given. I mean, Justin Herbert, he has one of the best offensive lines in football, a top 6 running back and 2 high-level receivers. Tua now, he has 2 high-level receivers, a worse offensive line, and a worse running back room. So if he's producing near a similar level to Justin Herbert with talent that is not that much better, truth be told, look at Joe Burrow and his Bengals. They're 0-2. He has the best receiving core in football, a top 10 running back, and this expensive offensive line that can't protect him. At the end of the day, Tua is doing the 2 things that matter most. That's why I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing how they progress with Mike McDaniel around the show.
You know, I can never disrespect Tua, being that the guy's undefeated against my favorite football team. And you could do that all you want, Brandon, but it is the facts. The guy's winning games, and he's doing everything in his power to win them. So now with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in the fold. By the way, I'm a big fan of Mike Gesicki. I know they were looking into trading him. They were shopping him this offseason. Keep that guy in the fold. What an athletic freak. Did you see that touchdown in the back of the end zone, him getting his 2 feet down?
The gritty was even better.
The gritty was hilarious. That was the longest gritty I've ever seen in my life. But you got to give credit where credit is due. Yeah, it was. But you got to give credit where credit is due. Miami balled out. Yeah, Baltimore's defense did not show up for the fourth quarter, but Miami's offense did. So, and that's just football. Just got to give credit there. I tip my cap to Miami. Lamar Jackson is still the MVP player that we all expect him to be. Yo, that's a game that Baltimore's like, yo, we're going to have to pay this guy a lot of freaking money. A lot of freaking money. The longest rushing touchdown in his career. The rushing game behind him does need to step up a lot. No way his next highest rusher is 3 rushes for 16 yards. Come on. J.K. Dobbins needs to get healthy, needs to be out there in the offense for them. Rashad Bateman has stepped up, is looking like a number 1. Mark Andrews is still Mark Andrews. Baltimore's going to be fine. This was an ugly game. They're going to look back at this one, and they'll fix everything up. Baltimore's still going to go on a run here. I'm a big fan. So I won't worry too much about them, but Miami, high hopes.
That might be the game that costs Baltimore the division. I know it's early in the season, but that's a game The offense was phenomenal. And at the end of the day, they crumbled. And due reason, the Dolphins have a filthy receiving attack. But I mean, you just can't lose a game like that if you're trying to win a Super Bowl. And ultimately, that is the Ravens' goal.
Yeah, and the road just gets tougher for Baltimore. They're going to Foxborough next week. Then they got Buffalo, and then they got a divisional matchup against Cincinnati. So we'll see what they're really made out of in these next 3 weeks.